Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I am your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Green, and today we have arguably the most jam-packed episode of Fantasy News yet. I am currently playing with my lighting, and I don't know if it's working out well or not. A smart person would do test shots. I am not a smart person. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the first story of the day, which is going to be an incredibly exciting announcement from Brent freaking Weeks. That's right, the Night Angel series is returning with the announcement of Night Angel NEMESIS. After focusing on his Lightbringer series for so long, the fantasy series that myself and so many of my age grew up with will be returning with fresh, spicy pages. And how far off is it? Spring of 2023. On a special side note, in case Brent ever somehow watches this video, you are one of the first authors to take my channel and what I do here seriously, and forever I will appreciate you for that. You're an absolute gem to the community, and I hope your writing is going swimmingly. But one of the series that has been thought long dead is apparently getting novella entries. No, it is not A Song of Ice and Fire or King Killer Chronicles, it is Gentlemen Bastards. As Scott Lynch tweeted out, "What if Gentlemen Bastards stuff, but new? What if I seem to be having fresh and unusual success with an anti-anxiety medication? What if my agent and my editors got to read the first new Bastard stuff I've sent them in f***ing ages? They have." It's Untitled Gentlemen Bastards Novella 1. I'm sorry, that's what I've got for now. For 15 years, I've had titles firmly in mind long before word 1 hits the page, and this time, it's just being fucking squirrely. So we're not gonna talk about it much this week or next. It's kind of difficult to give a hard path to something called Untitled Number 1. The next novella in the sequence is The Mad Baron's Mechanical Attic. The last is The Choir of Knives. These novellas have their shit together. Collectively, these 3 novellas form a bridge narrative, inessential but enriching, taking Locke and Jean from immediately after Republic to immediately before Thorn. So I know some people may be a little bit disappointed that this is not going to be another firm novel in the Gentlemen Bastards series, but it is progress for progress sakes, and on the note of mental health, I'm actually recording very late today because of my own anxiety attacks I was dealing with this morning, so no matter what the person, no matter the context, it's always good to hear someone's on proper medication, and it's working for them, because it allows me to say it's absolutely okay to be on medication and you should feel no guilt or weirdness about that. Medication's fine, it's just balancing out the chemical imbalance going on in your brain. And I'm coming in with a last minute fantasy news reshoot to ask you, do you like this lighting better? It's technically different, but also to say that we got a trailer for the new Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the show based off the incredibly controversial game that has been updated to largely come close to what was once promised. But the reaction to this show from fans seems to be quite positive. While it's not my particular favorite animation style, the number of small details woven in here to tie it directly into the game is pretty impressive, as well as some iconic sci-fi references, so this one looks pretty cool. I hope, much like the game, the story is strong enough to carry any other weaknesses. Back to the last lighting. Now, in news for one of the largest sci-fi fantasy communities I have unfortunately neglected here recently, an interview about the Warhammer 40K universe was officially conducted with Dan Abnett. And not being heavily involved in this universe, I'm not entirely sure what was important and what was not. I just know my Warhammer 40K friends have been kind of really excited for some of the developments going on here and telling me to not put my nose too deeply in for fear of spoilers. So I'm just gonna pick it on up, put the package in front of you, and tell you to go read the interview. I can do that! Now, we have to, of course, talk about the recent update that happened with Berserk. If you'd like to see full coverage, I did an entire video on it 2 days ago where I just give every bit of information that is currently known about the fact that Kentaro Mura's best friend, Mori, is actually going to be taking over the Berserk series. I am kind of still in shock from this news, and it's undoubtedly, even if you're not a fan of Berserk, even if you're not a fan of manga, big news. This is one of the biggest names in fantasy having another author come in to finish the story. It is a Sanderson Jordan-esque situation, and yeah, full thoughts in that video. But going from one gigantic manga to another, talking about its finishing, One Piece is officially going to be entering its final arc July 25th with chapter 1054. Now, the author is currently going on break, which I kind of don't even understand why that has to necessarily be news. If you're gonna take a break, and you earned it, it's fine. But there's always this, like, whenever One Piece goes on break, air of like, I'm so sorry, I'm not working on. You don't have to. Take a break, man. It's all right. Mental health and self-care is how you get the series done in tippy-toppy shape. I'd rather the series take 5 more years and be perfect than an author of anything be worn out when they're trying to finish it. Is anyone gonna disagree with me on that? So yeah, take a break. You're goated. And seeing that One Piece is actually going to be ending with this next arc and in my lifetime is extraordinary. For those of you who are not One Piece fans, certain arcs for One Piece have lasted like 4-5 years, I think even. Fact check me on that comment section. So hearing that it's going to be entering its final one doesn't necessarily mean it's about to end, but we're getting there, and this has been going on for decades. I'm a little late to this, but there's also been some One Piece sets put out that you can check out, and I'm really happy to see how much effort is going into the practical sets. I'm still hesitant about this show overall, but I'm getting more excited, especially with this work. Oh my god. And the guy who plays Luffy is just nailing the Luffers vibe. And in news that just made me go, my personal favorite comedy show is not only returning with its season 4 next month, but it's been renewed for 5 and 6, and that is What We Do in the Shadows. An absolutely belly-slapping, full-chest-throated, belting, laugh-out-loud riot. Not sure how much that made sense. TV show over at Hulu, and yeah, highly recommend you check this one out. Now, worlds are colliding in the entertainment world because Zack Snyder and Anthony freaking Hopkins are coming together, and I never would have thought, but I guess he is Odin. So yeah, he's really, wow, all right, cool. The details. We have this visual for the upcoming Zack Snyder Anthony Hopkins project titled Rebel Moon. And say what you will about Zack Snyder, and there's a lot to say about Zack Snyder. The guy gets his visuals down. He has a style and he executes them magnificently. So there it is. Let me know what you think of Anthony freaking Hopkins being in a Zack Snyder project. And in, I'm sorry to say, the first just negative story of the day I'm gonna have to be covering here, because I'm not feeling good about this, to be perfectly honest. It has been announced that a Joker 2 starring Joaquin Phoenix with, of course, the same writer-director Todd Phillips is coming down the road. And don't get me wrong, I liked Joker. I don't think it was as good as a lot of people say. It was just really interesting and well done. It did not need a sequel, and I think even the people who loved that movie are largely going to agree with that. So I'm kind of in the camp of immediately a no thank you. I could be talked into it, but I'm just immediately after like remembering the Joker and its conclusion and its messaging and its themes going, why would that need a sequel? Its whole, I don't know. I'm someone who likes to withhold judgment until I see. I'm sure the comments will not share that same philosophy, but it's just where I'm sitting as of now. You know what though? I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and say I didn't have that high expectations for the Joker movie when it was announced, and they certainly did have a story to tell. So maybe they wouldn't be doing this unless they thought they really had something that needed to be said, and I should just shut my mouth. So I'm going to do that and wait and see, because they've already delivered what is certainly well above average for a superhero movie before. And in the final story we're going to be covering here today in fantasy news, we had something that I thought was just so cool and so fun and a bit schlocky, and that's right up my alley. And it's the new trailer for Prey, the latest Predator series movie. And I've always had a soft spot for Predator, even though they haven't really achieved the highs they once did in a long time in terms of cinema. And this seems to be striking a really nice balance between kind of schlocky, pretty dramatic, and well put together. So I'm hoping Hulu is finally going to give Predator an entry that we can all look on as fans and go, hell yeah! And in an additional little side story on top of this one that I thought was really neat, you will also have the option to watch the film in the Comanche language. What? That's so awesome. I'm definitely going to do that and read the subtitles because it just seems like, I don't know, there's nowhere else in the world I can think I could do that with another movie like this, so badass. And I've always thought having Predator in different time periods is more interesting than just throwing him in like, I don't know, Tokyo or Sydney or something in modern times. So let's see him against people with muskets, bows, arrows, and hatchets. Bring it on. But this has just been your latest episode of Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and hit the Patreon if you'd like to support what I do here. I got books, I got merch, and thank you so much for everyone who signed up last week for the Patreon. Names appearing on screen now.